What's up, everybody? Rob Banks here with Captain Awesome, and we're going to see... Who are we going to see?
Infinity Wars!
That's right. We're going to be doing a review after the show. Right now, we're in the movie theater, and we'll catch up with you after the movie. What's up? Okay, here is the Infinity War review. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning. This is the part of the video where we talk about all the spoilers as seen in the title. That's right, sound the alarms. Okay.
If you didn't see the movie, shut it
off. Shut off the video right now. Come back and watch it after you've seen it, if you even want to do that. Okay, anyways, the movie opens with Thor, and all of Asgard is destroyed. What's left of Asgard that was on that ship, they're all dead. The movie opens, they're already dead, and Thanos has already killed everyone. And basically... Thor doesn't stand a chance. The Hulk gets the crap beat out of him by Thanos really bad, to the point where the Hulk kind of goes in hiding. Literally goes in hiding for the rest of the movie inside of Bruce Banner, because that's how scared shitless he is of Thanos. Loki gets strangled and his neck broke with like the blood vessels popping in his eyes while Thor screams for his brother, and the camera gets real nice and close on Loki's face. So pretty horrific death. Okay, Tony and Peter, they fight everybody when they meet up at Doctor Strange's laboratory in the East Village. And nobody dies in that scene, but the heroes stow away their ship. So they're kind of like stowaways aboard Thanos' minions' ship. That's how they get into space. Vision and Scarlet Witch get ambushed. Vision gets mortally wounded in that scene. And Captain America are the heroes that show up with Black Widow and Falcon to... kind of save him, and they got to try to figure out what the hell they're going to do at this point in keeping Vision hidden. When Thor meets up with the Guardians of the Galaxy team, and Thor goes to that forge, the reason why they go to the forge is to craft like the most diesel weapon in the universe that could actually defeat Thanos, and that is the Stormbringer. For those of you who don't know what the Stormbringer is, it is the weapon that Thor wields in, I believe, the Ultimate line of comic books, Ultimate Thor. It's kind of like Mjolnir, except one half of it is an axe, the other half of it is the hammer, and they can't get a handle for it, so one is pretty cool is that Groot grows his arm and kind of binds it together and then chops his own arm off, and then that becomes the handle of, Thor's new hammer. Okay, so it's called Stormbringer. Peter Dinklage is in the movie. He makes an appearance as a giant. He's actually the giant who created the Infinity Gauntlet and also helps create, yes, very serious, helps create Stormbringer. They reignite the dying star that created all these massive weapons that we've been hearing about for the last 10 years. So they open it back up, Thor almost dies, gets Stormbringer, and makes his way back to Earth with Rocket and Groot. In the meanwhile, Thanos and Gamora have that nice scene. They go off to a planet that has the Soul Stone. And when you get there, we get an appearance by the Red Skull. We find out where the Red Skull has been for the last however many years.
Get the hell out of here.
Yes, the Red Skull has been at this planet, transported there, guarding the Soul Stone. And he has no way off, and he kind of like has like this ability to like live forever now for some reason. Maybe it was lost on me while I was watching it. But he is the guardian of the Soul Stone. In order for Thanos to get the Soul Stone, he has to... give up a soul. You give up a soul, you get a soul. You get the Soul Stone by sacrificing a soul, but it has to be the soul of something you really love. They have like these little pieces of the movie where they keep flashing back to Gamora and Thanos when she was younger, and you get to see Thanos and how he acquired her and how much he actually does care for her. So the soul he has to sacrifice winds up being Gamora's, and he actually starts crying, and she's like, "Ha, the universe balks in your face, Mad Titan, for you love nothing." And he's like, "Sorry, I actually do love you, and I have a mission." And he grabs her, throws her off of a cliff, and she smashes onto a bunch of rocks and dies. Yes, she just smashes. Dead Gamora. Violent death. And so she's dead. Thanos then gets the Soul Stone. Puts the Soul Stone in. Now he's got even more power, right? Okay, yeah. Pretty intense movie. Okay, so they leave that point. The rest of the Avengers team up. They try to ambush Thanos. They almost succeed. Thanos gets away somehow because Star-Lord screws up because they find out that Gamora is actually really dead. And then we go to the Wakandan fight. And the fight in Wakanda is Captain America takes Vision to Wakanda to try to get the stone removed from his head without actually killing him. And they have all the Wakandan scientists working on him. Meanwhile, they're getting ready for the big battle. Giant things fall out of the sky. Aliens show up and start attacking Wakanda. The whole Wakandan army with Black Panther and the White Wolf, who is really originally the Winter Soldier, all gear up. They got their gear on and they take on a massive Braveheart type battle. Takes place at the end of this movie. Then everyone dies, but like 5 people. Everyone. Cap lives, who I actually thought he was gonna die. Black Widow lives. Tony lives just barely. He actually gets killed, and then somehow Doctor Strange uses like this deal. He barters a deal with Thanos to give him another stone, the stone from his amulet, to save Tony's life. Peter dies, nice and violently, as he's being vanished out of thin air. What happens is that Thanos actually winds up getting the stone. They're fighting the bad guys off, and Vision is able to, he like joins the fight kind of, and then they find out that they have to destroy Vision by having the Scarlet Witch blow up the gem in his head, and it'll kill him, and she cries, and she's able to do it. Thanos shows up, uses the Time Stone, reverses time, brings him back to life, puts his hand into his head, rips out the whole front of his forehead. Vision's dead. Bang, got all the stones. Thor shows up, starts kicking the hell out of everybody, takes the Stormbringer, shoves it through Thanos' heart. Thanos is dying, he's dying, but he tells him, you should have got me in the head. And click, snaps his fingers, and half of the world and all of life in the universe dies. Literally. Thanos' whole point in this movie is to eradicate half of the life in the universe so that the other half of the life of the universe has the ability to succeed and live on. It's kind of like a Mass Effect Reapers thing, where if you eliminate half the life in the universe, the other half will have the means to continue on, thereby allowing the life to continue by eliminating half of the life. It's kind of weird, but it works when you kind of get to sit down and actually watch it. So everyone dies. You get a nice close-up of Peter's face crying to Tony about how he doesn't want to die and how he's sorry and he should have stayed as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he's just deteriorating, and he dies, and then Black Panther dies, and everyone just starts dying. Literally just Falcon, goodbye Falcon, goodbye pretty much everyone except for the characters that I just named. Everybody but Peter right here. Oh, and Bruce Banner. There is no Hulk in this movie. Hulk never shows up. Bruce goes into the Hulkbuster armor. He's the one piloting the Hulkbuster, and he almost gets his head busted by one of Thanos' goons, but he does something really cool in order to destroy him, and he actually makes it out, and then it ends just like that on a cliffhanger. Just everyone dies, and then they're actually sitting there in the middle of the battlefield like, now what? And that's how the movie ends. The movie checks all the boxes. Okay, it has great acting, it has great action, it has a lot of suspense, a shit ton of suspense actually, because every time Thanos shows up on the screen, you don't know whether or not a hero is going to die, and they establish that very early on. The Russo brothers know what they're doing. It was a very good movie, but my son and I are kind of on the fence with the whole enjoyment thing. The movie was about losing loved ones and sacrifice, especially family sacrifice. And the themes run throughout. I can't stress how well done that the culmination of 10 years and how big and bad as this bad guy really is. When Thanos shows up, he means business, and he lets you know he means business, along with his minions, who are actually a lot more diesel this time around. This isn't the Avengers fighting a bunch of unknown robots and faceless alien soldiers. This is like they're actually fighting characters. They give a little bit of personality to all the Thanos characters as well. I did not love the movie. I know that the movie was really good. I'm going to give it 4.5 cups because it accomplished what it wanted to accomplish. When you leave a movie and it leaves you, oh, wow, I hope the next one is a little bit happier than that. It's doing its job. And that's something that I had to wrestle with. When I came out of the theater, I didn't really like the movie all that much. It's fun and exciting, but not really when, and you guys should already know this, there will be blood in this movie, and deaths aplenty. So
especially because you just feel so familiar with the characters and
yes, you
grow to
grow
love them.
exactly. You grow to love with these characters for the last 10 years in these movies,
So
and
little
then
kids watching them get hurt.
watching these characters die very brutally and very intimately on the screen. Okay, in order to wrap this up, we're just gonna say that as depressing and as sad as this movie was, that there's another part coming. This is going to be a continuation, and hopefully all the heroes will come back for the big finale and triumph. All the things that you would think to yourself, like you're waiting for the Hulk to show up and he doesn't. They're saving that. Smart move on the Russo brothers, that they're not just going to spend all the cards up their sleeves in order to save some stuff for the next movie. The people in my theater didn't clap once. There was a couple of chuckles and laughter parts because there is a couple of funny parts in the movie, especially with Peter Quill. But everyone left silently. The movie ended. You could have heard a pin drop. Everyone was walking out of this theater like it was a funeral procession. The theater was about half full, so there must have been about 100 people. And it was very solemn and kind of like, oh, okay, what did we just watch? Now, if that was their focus, which I'm sure it was, because this is kind of like the Empire Strikes Back movie in the Marvel Universe, and they succeeded. The Russo brothers succeeded in doing what they were supposed to, apparently. My son was crying during the movie. That kind of took me out of it a little bit, especially with a lot of the father-daughter parts, even though it was father-son thing going on, and he's crying and looking at me like, how many more heroes are going to die? So it is what it is. Your mileage may vary. That's how it affected our viewing experience. At the end of the movie, extra credit scene, you get to see Nick Fury and Maria Hill driving through Manhattan, and they're hiding out this whole time, basically, and then helicopters start to fall out of the sky, and people just start to vanish. There's a car accident in front of them. They get out. He's like, Maria, call in the extra help we need, and Maria turns around, and she's like, Nick, and she vanishes. She was one of the ones that doesn't get to survive. So then he turns around and starts hitting like this little beeper, like signal caller thing, and he's like hitting it and trying to contact somebody, and then he starts to vanish. So Nick Fury dies too, and the beeper hits the floor, and they close in nice and close on it, and it's basically a signal to Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Miss Marvel. We need your help. Next hero to show up will be Miss Marvel. That's the big cliffhanger-y type ending, extra credit scene type thing. I had a conversation with my boy T. T, if you're watching this, thanks for the talk down from the ledge. Basically, the same reaction my buddy had after watching The Dark Knight, which is the end-all, be-all to comic book movies, one of my favorites, I'm sure one of your favorites as well. Left him feeling kind of upset and kind of dreary, like, yo, Batman Begins ends like really on an up note, like you'll never have to ask for help in the Joker card. And you're like, yay, Batman. This movie, The Dark Knight ends on a sour down note. For the big triumph in the third act with The Dark Knight Rises. That's how this movie ends, kind of like The Dark Knight, very solemn and down note. Heroes lose. Thanos wins. This is a movie where the bad guy wins. And Thanos was very well fleshed out. I said that before. He's a relatable villain, and he's a good villain. Marvel's stepping it up with the good villains lately, so good job. We're giving this, like I had said earlier, 4.5 cups. From a movie standpoint, it was a good movie. But it wasn't what I was looking for in a superhero movie. I'm not looking for Batman and Robin, but I did enjoy Civil War better. I did enjoy Winter Soldier better. I enjoyed Ragnarok better. I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was I don't know if these were better movies, but I had more fun watching those movies. I want to go to a superhero movie and have fun. This was not very fun. This was kind of like very heavy, emotionally heavy movie. So be prepared to get invested and then de-invested in your characters, because they will be dropping like flies in this. And this movie has some serious dire consequences in it. However, it is what it is, folks. That's what I look for in a movie. And those are the type of movies that I gravitate more to, as opposed to a movie like this. I don't know if this is going to have a lot of repeat viewings for me. Perhaps next year, when the next movie comes out, I'll be able to watch them both back to back, and I'll be able to actually stomach the fact that this movie was such a downer, whereas the next one, hopefully, will bring us back up. And that is the masterpiece working of Marvel. Apparently, Marvel's the only one who knows how to make movies these days. I'm a much bigger DC fan myself. I love Marvel, but I really, really love the characters in DC, and you can see that they're just missing the mark, and Sony has Venom coming out. I have no interest in seeing that. It just seems like Marvel's the only one that knows how to make movies. Even when they make ones that I'm not that crazy about, it hits all the right notes. And if that's what they were aiming for, I can't fault a movie for being what it's supposed to be. So based on that, it gets a really high Red Cup review score. However, not necessarily my cup of tea and might not be everyone's as well. This is Rob Banks saying thanks for watching. This is the Red Cup Review.